In this tutorial, we're going to go through the process of using a polygon to clip out a section of a raster. We're going to use this Anambra bounding box that we created in the last tutorial. Now, this is a raster, you're trying to work on a raster, so you go to raster, the raster tool, uh, from the tools bar here, raster, you move your cursor down until you get to extraction. When you hold it on extraction, you get another context menu on the side, talks about clip raster by extents and clip raster by mask layer. Now you still have contour there, but what you're looking for is clip raster by mask layer. The mask layer will be the polygon in this particular instance. So click on it. It brings out this pop-up menu, which of course is called Clip Raster by Mask Layer. That's the name of the tool. First and foremost, you have to select the input layer, the raster you want to clip. So click on this drop down arrow here and select the first of these. Of course, you know I have about 4 raster here, so I select the first one. Then the mask layer, which of course is the polygon. In this case, it's already selected because it's the most recent that I created, but of course it's Anambra BB. So you select that. Now I haven't selected those. I can go ahead and define a source coordinate system, and of course the target one, but I don't need to do that because I wanted to use whatever it is that is already with, which is of course the WGS84. So I wouldn't define that. I'll just scroll down. When you scroll down towards the end, um, you can set the resolution that you want. If you want to increase the resolution, of course, the data is basically about 30 meter by 30 meter resolution. You can reduce it to 10 by 10 or 50 by 50, as the case may be. The choice would be yours. So you can define the X and define the Y resolution here. But I want to retain the original resolution, which is 30 by 30. So no changes there. Now, no data value. I want to assign some no data value, which is basically I want anything below 0 to be considered to be missing data or no data. It might be um, it might be a misnomer in some cases where you have a region that is at or below sea level. In this case, if we scroll through and see, you have 17 to 563, that won't be a problem here. The second is 12 to 452, no problem there. You have 0 to 411. Now, I'll probably have a problem here because now there is still data that is 0. So when it define a no data value as a 0, then it means it might have to exclude some data. And in the last one, I have -9 to 268. Well, let's not define the no data value as 0. Let's leave it at that and see what it gives. If I need be, then I would go back and correct that. But actually, in this case, I don't even need to define that because basically uh, it's a regular shape that I want to use to clip it. So for now, don't define the no data value as 0. If you want to, that means you come here under this assign specified no data value. You can just type in 0 there, and then of course it works, or you type -9999 as the case may be. So, but then I decide not to change that at the moment. So let's get down to where you save. Now, I left all other things the way they were besides the selection of the input layer, which is the raster, and of course the mask layer, which is the polygon. Scroll down to the end. and browse to the location of your folder and where you want to save your data. But of course, in this particular instance, I don't want to save anything at the moment because I have about 4 layers that I want to clip. Eventually, I want to merge those 4 layers together. So when I merge them together, then I'll now save that. But then if you want to save, click on this arrow, save to file. Click and then browse to the location of uh, your work folder or work directory. This is mine, study guide, map production, and then, well, outputs. Nope, not outputs, this time around map products. Really? Anyway, this is basically a raster, so I might as well just stick to raster. Come here, I can right click and then folder and type maybe outputs, so that I'll know there's a difference between the output and of course the input. These ones are the input raster data. So go right back, but in this case I don't want to save at the moment. I want to leave it blank this way. Eventually I'll do the saving. Now run, click run, and now it has clipped it. If you check here, you see, if you check on this the layer pane, you see clipped mask. That is what you just clipped. Now I want to go back and clip the second raster. You go back, you press on this. When you clip, automatically it takes you to the next tab, which is log. So to repeat the process for a new raster, you click on the parameters again, go up. This time around, you don't touch the mask layer, but you change the input layer. Click on the arrow, select the second one, which is this, and run. Click on run. The second clip is now available. You can see there are two clipped layers here, clip bracket mask. Go back to parameters, select the third one, click run. Now the third layer has been clipped. Go back to parameters again, click, select the fourth, and then of course run again. Now you have 4 clipped layers here. So now you can close this window, this pop-up window. Close. You can't see the clipped layers here because you still have the parent layer, so it's still basically the same thing. So what you need to do is deselect or deactivate the parent layers, the 4 parent layers, and then we'll now see what has been clipped out, which will definitely be within this Anambra bounding box, within this area. So scroll down and deselect this. You can see this one is gone, but then there is still a section here that still remains. Just select the second. You see, within the Anambra bounding box area, there is a part of that digital illusion model that still remains. The one outside is no longer there, but bear in mind that the parent layers were not touched. New layers were created for that particular section, so the parent layers are still intact. Remove the third or deactivate the first, and now this is the digital model that we're working with subsequently within this unit, this course. Now, having done this, I've succeeded in using the clip tool to clip out the areas of interest for me. Now, if I deselect or deactivate any single one of them, you notice that the others are still there. But I want to merge all of them together so it becomes one raster. So that once I remove all the other 4, I'll still have one raster that covers the entire area of interest for me. So I need to merge all of them together to get one. So which is the next stage in the process that we'll go through right now. Usually in some GIS tutorial, it's called mosaicing tool, but I think in QGIS it's called merge. So, like I said, once again, this is a raster layer. So you to analyze it or to merge it, you have to go look for the tool you're looking for from the raster toolbar. Now, click on raster, go down to miscellaneous. Mind you, when we clicked, we went to extraction and found clip raster by mask layer. Now to merge, we go to miscellaneous and select merge. When you click on merge, the first option here says input layer. In that case, you have to select which are the input layers you want to merge. So click on the browse tool at the end here. Once you click on it, it won't take you to your folder now. It will take you to what is already open within the QGIS menu, the raster layers. So you want to merge the clipped sections, these four. So to select, you don't want to merge this one. You want to leave them intact. To select, click on the box in front or before the layer you're looking for to mark it. You click on the second to mark, third, and fourth. These four marked layers are the ones that you want to merge. Now press OK here, this OK. Now, if you look now, it has four inputs selected. Initially it was 0 input selected. So now it's 4 because you just selected four raster layers that you want to merge. Now, having done that, you can still set the no data value at 0. It's up to you, but um, it's not necessary in this regard. If I had been using the Nigeria map, I might have gone ahead and set it at 0 because usually if you don't set at 0 for sometimes you might get that Nigeria map, but the entire region around it would be given a 0 value. It will not be transparent. It will become dark in color. So to make sure that you don't have a dark color around your polygon, you might set at 0. But of course, in this case, since I'm using a regular polygon, which is a rectangle, you won't have that problem there. Now, having selected all four, this time around, I want to save because once I merge, I want to be sure that the merged layer is retained within my system. So I click on the merged to set save to temporary file on the merged. So once I click on that arrow at the end, I select save to file. Click. Now browse to the location of your work directory. I am working from downloads, notebook, project, study guide, map production, raster, outputs. Now this is basically Anambra BB dem. That's what I'll call it. Type in Anambra underscore BB underscore DEM. So, and of course it should be TIF. There are lots of other options you can select, but I prefer to work with TIF at the moment. So press save. Now that you've pressed save, you can now click run to execute the command. Now it's running, and now it's done. Close the window, the pop-up window. If you look within, you can see that now I have a new raster layer called Anambra underscore BB underscore dem. That's the new one I have. Now, while it's there, let's go back to this the clip layers. Once I deactivate one, watch and see what happens within the window. nothing will happen because I now have one that covers the entire area. Deactivate is still intact. The second deactivator is still intact. The third still intact. The fourth still intact. Now, if I deactivate this one, automatically you won't see the raster anymore. You see? So you now see the bounding box, but without the raster. You click again, the raster is back. So this is basically how you clip and then merge to generate to have one single raster layer. You can do it for any raster layer, not just for digital elevation models. Now, if you look at this, if you zoom in, you will discover that the line separating initially when you look at those lines, you could see that it's about four different layers. Now you can't really see that they are the 4 different layers. They are well aligned. The tones are virtually aligned. There's no way to say that it used to be four layers. It's now a single layer, and no way to say that the parent layers were actually different before the execution of the merge operations. Zoom to layer. Now, having merged, I will now remove these four layers since it's no longer useful to me. So click on the first, hold the shift key on your keyboard, click on the last. Right click, select remove layer. And the prompt here says remove four legend entries. You say okay, the four of them are gone. These parent layers, I still don't need them either. So I want to remove that. You can select the last and then select the first. The sequence doesn't matter. Just select the first and then hold shift, select the last, or select the last, hold shift, select the first. It doesn't matter. We'll still do the same thing. So remove the layers. Okay. So now the only raster layer I have now within the map window is basically the new one that I just created, which is basically Anambra VB Den. Now, if you look at this, you now see that within this box now, haven't cut off some sections. Some sections outside of this box were less than 0 meters above sea level. Those areas have been cut off after this operation. Now you have elevation between 8 and 554 meters above sea level. So there's no region within Anambra State uh, that is at an elevation of 0 or less than that for the entire state. So this is basically what you get. Now, having done that, we might now go to the next stage where we'll now talk about the generation of some map products, raster map products from this this elevation model. We'll generate the slope map. Already have the elevation, which is this. We want to generate the slope. How steep is the area? Is it 30 degrees steep, 2 degrees steep? How steep is the terrain? Even if it's mountainous, is it a gentle slope, a steep slope, moderate slope? So we'll generate the slope map, the slope raster, and of course we'll now generate landform raster, which is basically with the geo morphon tools. So we'll take care of that in the next unit. Thank you.